Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking on the tire category here for your 3/4 ton truck and helping you decide what might be the best bet for your F-250, 2500 Ram, Silverado, or Sierra. Now we're going to break down the three, I would say, popular tire types here on the site, talk some pros, talk some cons, and give you an idea of what to expect from each. Now before we start breaking down our three different examples here today, I did want to briefly mention load range and load index and why they are important for your 3/4 ton truck. Now each tire listed here today is generally available in different load ranges, and for those of you who do not know, load range indicates the heaviest load the tire can handle in pounds. Now, this is kind of an older means of measuring that is typically denoted by a letter, so B through F, with F being the most capable when it comes to overall load or weight. Now, load index, on the other hand, is another means of measurement that a lot of truck owners out there consider a more precise method, as the number denotes the tire's specific capacity when inflated to a maximum load sustaining pressure. Basically, you're just adding more of an exact science or an exact number to load, as opposed to load range, which is directed more towards the tire's construction and the number of plies. But what you need to keep in mind while shopping for tires is that you don't necessarily want to move to a lower load rating if you do a lot of truck things, towing, hauling, and so forth. If anything, I'm going to strongly recommend sticking with the same load rating as your factory tires, which will more than likely be an E load rating, or increasing the load range or index if you absolutely have to. With that stuff out of the way, let's dive into our first type of tire. Starting us off here today, we have the most popular category on the site, and that is the all-terrain category, represented here in this video by the most popular all-terrain tire of all time, the BFG KO2. Now, all-terrain tires are a nice compromise for truck owners looking for something that will deliver more off-road performance along with more of an aggressive look without driving you crazy on long road trips with a ton of excessive noise. Now, the KO2, again, really needs no introduction, as it continues to be an all-terrain staple, even coming standard on some factory trucks like the mighty Ford Raptor, which is known for its off-road performance. Now, some of that performance does come from the serrated shoulder design here that helps really dig in and claw through loose terrain, while also contributing to a more aggressive look when compared to, say, your factory all-season tires. Now, on top of that, this particular tire, the KO2, does utilize interlocking tread blocks along with a slightly wider shoulder block with stone injectors. And that's something you're gonna see on a few tires here in this particular video. Now, on the topic of grip, guys, the KO2 does take that mud and snow traction rating to the next level, achieving the 3-peak mountain snowflake symbol, which designates this tire worthy of severe snow traction. But going back to those interlocking tread elements we just talked about, that's going to help contribute to a relatively quiet ride on the road. Maybe not quite as quiet as a factory all season, but certainly, again, isn't going to drive you crazy on long trips, such as the more aggressive mud terrain tires. Also worth pointing out here, guys, the BFG is backed by a 50,000 mile warranty, which is a bit of a rarity in the truck tire category because tread patterns tend to get more aggressive and those tread compounds tend to get a bit softer. Weight for the 35-1250 KO2s coming in around 68 pounds per tire. They are available in an E load range, and each tire will cost you roughly between $430 and $500 for the 35-1250, depending on your wheel size. Now, obviously, this is a bit step up in a price point here when we're talking about comparatively shopping to a more basic all-season tire, but if you value Baja levels of off-road performance along with a nice quiet ride and a pretty stout warranty, the KO2 is always going to be hard to beat. Up next, we have the most aggressive tire of the bunch, and that, of course, is the mud terrain tire. Now, representing the mud terrain category for today's video is a tire from Milestar. It's the Patagonia MT, which stands for mud terrain. Now, traditionally, the mud terrain tires prioritize off-road grip and an aggressive appearance over anything else, and the same can be said about the Milestar that we're featuring here today. Just a very aggressive tire from an appearance standpoint, and with the off-road chops to back it all up. Now, even though mud terrains have come a long way since the old school mud boggers of decades ago, they still feature a lot of same ingredients. Now, the biggest being the huge gaps or huge voids between tread blocks, which not only allow these tires to really help dig in, but more importantly, really help the tire self-clean. Now, if you're not familiar with what that term is, basically these large voids and the stone ejectors that we talked about earlier, basically when that tire gets spun up really fast, if you're stuck and you're trying to work yourself out, when that wheel's spinning, those large voids and stone ejectors allow this debris, basically mud, dirt, snow, whatever, to eject from the tire and the tread, allowing that tire to keep clean and keep clawing through whatever it is you're trying to get through. Now, not only do these mud terrains typically feature the most aggressive tread design, but oftentimes they feature a thicker 3-ply sidewall to prevent any chips or punctures. And this is the most common area that most tires fail off-road on the trail. Now, that added durability is certainly welcomed in the hardcore off-road scenarios, but it can and will add overall weight to the tire. Now, even though the aggressive tread looks and performs awesome off-road, it is the #1 reason why these tires are typically the loudest while on the road. Now, companies have worked on improving this thanks to a big center rib here, at least on the Patagonia, but at the end of the day, you should absolutely expect a louder experience with a mud terrain as opposed to an all-terrain or even an all-season. Now, on top of a noisy and sometimes rougher ride, you'll also notice mud terrains aren't really backed by any kind of mileage warranty. That's because a lot of mud terrain tires feature a slightly softer compound for added grip off-road. However, that softer compound has basically shortened the lifespan of the tire compared to an all-season, and that's why HD owners out there should be prepared to replace these mud terrains a little bit more frequently compared to some of our other tires on the list today. But getting into some of the stats here of the 35-12-50 Patagonia MT, and you'll find that the added sidewall thickness does contribute to more weight over the BFG, coming in around 73 pounds overall. Now, this tire is available in both an E and F load range and will cost you between $330 and $400 per tire depending on your wheel size. Definitely a true heavy hitter when it comes to off-road traction and badass appearance for HD truck owners out there who aren't concerned with a little added road noise. Last but not least, we have a relative newcomer to the list, and that is what is called a hybrid terrain. Now, these tires tend to blur the lines between those more traditional all-terrain and mud terrain tires, and they've quickly become a fan favorite for a few different reasons, including with myself. Now, the hybrid tire that we're featuring in today's video comes to us from Nitto with their Ridge Grappler, which, despite being kind of lumped into that all-terrain category here on the site, really does incorporate some pretty unique characteristics, and we'll talk about them now. So what exactly makes this a hybrid tire? Well, for starters, a lot of truck fans out there, including myself, want something that will be quiet enough while cruising on the road, but at the same time still offer killer off-road performance along with a very aggressive look. And that's exactly what tires like the Ridge Grappler accomplish. Now, to do this, they start with a tightly grouped block of center tread blocks here. It's going to resemble more of an all-terrain tire throughout the center rib, and this is especially helpful to maintain a smooth ride with less road noise when compared to a mud terrain. Now, Nitto actually takes this a step further, and they utilize advanced sound equipment and technology to come up with a unique tread pattern that will be surprisingly quiet on the road. And again, as an owner of a set of Ridge Grapplers on my current F-150, I can certainly attest to this. Now, if we shift our focus to the outer blocks of the Ridge Grappler closer to the shoulder, that's where you're gonna see more of that mud terrain tire come into play. By utilizing slightly larger voids or spaces between these tread blocks on the outer edge, and by utilizing staggered shoulder lugs, you're really gonna get that digging in and self-cleaning you come to expect out of a more aggressive mud terrain tire. Now, on top of that, guys, you're still getting that super durable 3-ply sidewall construction. So yes, these tires can certainly take some abuse like some of our previous options that we've talked about. Now, you're still getting those stone ejectors along with the super aggressive look. And fun fact here, guys, with the Ridge Grappler, they actually give you the option of 1 or 2 different sidewall designs that kind of allows you to change up the look of how you want the tire to look when mounted. Very cool, and they're one of the only companies to do that. Now your weight for the 35-12-50 Ridge Grappler will be about 70 pounds, so a little lighter compared to the Patagonia. And the Ridge Grappler, like that Patagonia, however, will be available in both E and F load ranges. Pricing, as always, guys, will vary depending on your wheel size, but you're looking, I would say, between $480 to $530 per tire for the 35-12-50. Now the hybrid terrain tires, I would say, have really taken the category and the truck world by storm lately, and experiencing all of the performance of a more aggressive mud terrain without any of the harsh side effects. Pretty easy to see why. All right, so there you have it, gang. 3 basic tire types for your F250 or 2500 Ram, Silverado, or Sierra. Now, as always, if you have any questions about these tires for your truck, feel free to drop us a comment here on this video, or feel free to give us a call anytime. In the meantime, I'm Justin. Thanks for watching, and for all things HD, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.